Good Karma Brands radio station.
The Cincinnati Bengals needed a savior, and they dialed up the Browns for Joe Flacco?
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're going to break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. Coming to you live from the Coors Light Cool Zone here at Amerant Bank Arena. You heard the horn in the background. They're getting ready for a lot of goals, a lot of pucks to be flying through the net, hopefully in favor of the two-time defending champion, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. We are here for banner night, theoretically speaking, on the road, on the go. Today, C-Cat is out. He was feeling a little bit under the weather, similar to how his Baltimore Ravens and his Penn State Nittany Lions feel after a rough weekend for both squads. Feeling a little under the weather, so no C-Cat with us here today, but we do. Good people have Mike Rizzo back in the ESPN West Palm studios. He's in the cat cave manning the ones and the twos. You can't see him right now, but just know his eloquent voice will be gracing the airwaves throughout today's show. And we're going to get to you soon here, Mike, because, Mike, your Browns were active in the division on the trade market here. Just quickly before, I'm going to talk a little bit more Panthers. I'm going to tee some things up, but before we get into all of that, I just have to get your quick thoughts on losing an elite quarterback like Joe Flacco to a divisional rival, bro.
Well, first off, if I'm in the cat cave, there's a rabid dog in here because I'm Browns. Theo, I'll tell you this. I think this opens the door for Shedeur Sanders. Now, I can't promise you that Dylan Gabriel isn't going to do enough to be the starting quarterback throughout the year, but we all saw him play on Sunday. He had a couple of nice throws, a couple of bad throws. My best guess is that we're going to see Shedeur Sanders here soon. Now, something to keep in mind, you got Bailey Zappi on the roster. If you remember, Joe Flacco was listed as the number 2 quarterback on the roster, even when Dylan Gabriel was named the starter. So I think we got to wait and see what Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, has to say. But, Theo, I certainly think this opens the door for my guy Shedeur, man. I think all of the NFL, all NFL fans want to see this young man hit the field, and I think this expedites that a little bit.
All roads, especially with things Cleveland, always end up running back to Shedeur Sanders. So we'll get into some of that. That's the breaking news of the day. You had Joe Flacco in the 6th-round pick going to the Bengals for a 5th-round pick, a very cheap price to pay for Cincinnati, who desperately need quarterback help because Jake Browning ain't cutting it. I don't know what he lost between 2023 and this year, but apparently it was all of his talents. But plenty of talent going to pack the house tonight as the Cats will host the lowly Chicago Blackhawks in a banner game. The puck drops on the NHL season right here in Sunrise. This is going to be the epicenter of hockey, the first regular season game of the season, and why not kick things off with the Stanley Cup champions, the team that has been in the Stanley Cup final for each of the past 3 years, the team that is looking to achieve the three-peat. They will host the Blackhawks, so we'll be able to be here for the game when the puck drops. When we wrap up the show about 4 o'clock here, it should give me enough time to be able to make my way into the arena and get a good view of the celebration around them dropping the banner. Doors open here at Amerant Bank Arena at 4 o'clock. I know that we have some good people and fans of this show that'll be showing up here to celebrate with the team. And I do want to say this. There's a lot of times in sports where players and coaches and the staff and everybody tries to be even keel and stoic and not talk about the bigger picture. I will never forget the way in which my stomach dropped when we were at Panthers Media Day, and I'm sitting across from head coach Paul Maurice, coming off of 2 straight titles, a guy who is very selective with his words. He is a guy that is not, you think about some of these loudmouth coaches that make these exuberant statements and then sometimes don't back it up. That's not Paul Maurice. This dude is very level-headed. But not even 30 seconds into the interview, which you can find the full thing on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, Paul Maurice talked about the quest for a three-peat. He said it. He said it will be nice to be able to call myself not a 2-time winning Stanley Cup champion coach, but a 3-time winning coach. And, of course, that's always going to be the goal. But oftentimes when you have these dynastic type teams, they like to talk about, oh man, hashtag time to hunt, but we're taking it game by game. I just want to get through training camp healthy. They usually do these small incremental things. No. This is a Panthers team that sees history is staring it in its face, and they are going to take on that challenge like none other. Now, they're going to have to start tonight without Matthew Tkachuk. They're going to have to start without Sasha Barkov. Those are two of the best players on the team, two pivotal guys in each of the last two runs, and they won't have them for any time soon. But the reason why this team has made it so deep into the postseason each of the past 3 years and has been able to have banner nights now back-to-back seasons is because they're deep and they're well coached and they are gritty. So I'm looking forward to some hockey tonight. I'm looking forward to talking a little puck with y'all. Hopefully we start the season off with a win with the Cat. As you do know, you can watch now and stream all games. Stream all games and listen to it on ESPN 106.3 for the Panthers this season right here on these radio airwaves. There's going to be a triple header on ESPN on television of the NHL games, but we'll be your home for the Panthers all throughout the regular season. That was an announcement we were able to make this year, and I'm excited to be teamed up with the champs. All right, now talking about champions, let's tune it back to a couple of lowly football teams that made a trade that will definitively, it could define both the Browns season and certainly the Bengals season. Joe Burrow is out, and he likely is not coming back at any point this year. Jake Browning, who was supposed to be spelling Joe Burrow, who was a guy that we considered coming into this year one of the more competent backups in the league. Well, he stepped in, and he's been absolute crap since he started with these Cincinnati Bengals this year. Turnover machine. They have not been able to pick up one lowly win, and in fact, they look like they were off to a third straight game where not only are they getting their tails whipped, but they're not able to score the football. But thankfully, there were some garbage time touchdowns where Browning realized if I just keep putting the ball in the vicinity of Jamar Chase, we might have a chance at a win. Well, they didn't. They lost 37-24 to the Lions, and Zach Taylor and the brass with the Bengals decided it is time to make a change. They have now traded for the guy who literally he's a Super Bowl champion in Joe Flacco. He led the Browns to the playoffs a couple of years ago, and that's the reason why Kevin Stefanski and the bunch out there decided to bring him back in that quarterback room to be the veteran, to lead this team to wins, or at least to give them time before they can put the rookies out there. Two things align here with division rivals. The Browns realized we have something, not everything, not enough to hang your hat on, but we have something in Dillon Gabriel to where we don't have to be concerned about trotting him out there as a starter. He threw for 2 touchdowns against the Vikings in London. That was a bit of a surprise because that is an attacking defense that can fool rookies and even fools veterans from time to time. So his competence paired with Drake Browning's third straight weekend of incompetence lead to the trade that we got today. Jake Browning to the bench. Joe Flacco from the Browns to the Bengals. They get in return a 5th-round pick in Cleveland, and they send the 6th-round pick out the door. So it's practically a 6-5 swap, and Joe Flacco is now heading to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at this. We know what Joe Flacco is. The dude is a gunslinger. The dude is a risk taker. He's going to toss the ball 50 yards down the field. The reason why everybody had been clamoring for maybe Jameis Winston to be the new quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals is because they know that at the very least, the guy will take risks. He will open up the offense. He will give Jamar Chase and T. Higgins a chance at being spectacular. Jake Browning wasn't doing that. But Joe Flacco also wasn't so hot in Cleveland. So, Mike Rizzo, I'm going to open it up to you before we get deeper into this. You have watched closely Joe Flacco this year. How far off is Joe Flacco from the couple of years ago when you had that playoff run, but more importantly, maybe even the 4 or 5 years ago when teams were actually like, hey, this guy can be a leader of our team. Like, how far off is this guy? And are the Bengals actually getting a savior, or are they getting the limit?
The Browns don't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Let's make that clear. They got Jerry Jeudy, a guy who can't catch a 3rd down ball for his life, and a whole lot of nothing. With Cedric Tillman out as well, Flacco is really throwing the 2 tight ends in Fannin Jr. and Njoku. Theo, he's lost a step, I think, significantly. The one thing the Browns couldn't handle and why they went to Dillon Gabriel were the turnovers. Joe had 2 interceptions and a fumble against the Detroit Lions in Detroit that really did him in there. And it surprises me a little bit because I can't tell you the last time the Browns and the Bengals made a trade. I think this speaks volumes as to where the Browns think Joe Flacco is as a player. And I also think they did him a solid. Like, he's going to go to Cincinnati and immediately play. This is probably Joe Flacco's final year. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. And I think it's firm handshakes in the chat on both sides because Flacco's going to get an opportunity to start. The Bengals needed help because Jake Browning stinks and has 8 interceptions this year. And to your credit, Theo, he wasn't doing it in Cleveland, but we all know Flacco's got a rocket of an arm. And when you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins running deep routes nonstop, I think the Bengals could actually be, a better team. I can't promise you they're going to win more than 6-7 games this year. Yeah. But let's call a spade too, Thee. The Bengals should be 0-4. They should have lost to the Jags, and they should have lost to the Joe Flacco-led Browns in Week 1. So to wrap it up, I really do think firm handshakes in the chat on both sides. I think both sides are improved with the 5th-round pick for Cleveland and Cincinnati in dire need of a quarterback that, to your credit, will be able to sling it.
Mike Rizzo, the resident Browns fan, excited for their side of the thing because they get a draft pick, and it's all about the draft for the Browns this year. It's all about seeing what you have in Judkins, seeing if you have a guy that you can either commit to in Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, or maybe trade off as you go into this next draft and select your guy. But it's all about the 2026 NFL draft for the Cleveland Browns.
And Theo, if I can quickly, isn't it so Browns that the Jags have 4 wins this year? They have their first-round pick. The one year where the Jags are doing good, Cleveland's got the first-round pick. Isn't that hysterical? Isn't that so funny?
Well, what's funny about that is I had forgotten. Clearly, it's obviously the Travis Hunter trade, so there was no need for me to forget. But I had already chalked that up to being likely a top 15 pick, that I had forgotten that pick is tied to how well the Jaguars are doing. They get the Monday Night Football win over the Chiefs. Maybe this is also partially the Browns like, hey, we also need more draft capital because we might need more to move up in this next draft based on what the Jaguars are doing in the AFC. They're tied for the best record in the AFC right now. That is absolutely not what we expected to happen. But back to the actual play on the field. I think for the Bengals, part of the reason why they did this wasn't just because Jake Browning was bad. They're looking at the rest of the AFC North in particular, and they're saying, hey, the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, who, of course, Lamar Jackson is sidelined and will likely come back after the bye week with a hamstring issue, they're 1-4. The Ravens are 1-4. The Browns themselves right now are technically still in contention for this division, if not for the 4-1 Steelers being atop it right now. But you already know with an Aaron Rodgers-led team, that squad at any point can fall off the rails. So you just don't know what to expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if I'm the Bengals, you can't punt on this season, especially not with the offensive talent that you have, and especially not in a year in which you decided you were going to pay up on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and you also brought back Trey Hendrickson for a do-or-die year. That all of those factors play into the fact where they decided, hey, we have to give ourselves the best chance to win right now. The problem is, if they think that is a Joe Flacco-led Bengals team, I'm not so sure that they're not going to just shoot themselves in the foot, because I feel like Joe Flacco's at that stage in his career where he can get you to 7 or 8 wins, but he's not necessarily going to get you into the playoffs. And now the Bengals are going to be back picking in between 17 and 21 in the NFL draft. They're not going to benefit from a full season off of Joe Burrow. Trey Hendrickson is going to likely be able to walk out the door this offseason for nothing, because if you're committing to Joe Flacco, you're likely not trading Hendrickson before the trade deadline, and now you're stuck in the pit of mediocrity. They're almost being fooled by how poor the AFC has been so far this year from the, I don't want to throw shade on the Colts or the Jaguars, but that feels a little bit more reachable than if the Chiefs or the Ravens were 4-1. So it's like, I think it's a culmination of things right here that have them buying on Joe Flacco, and it might also have them punting on what could have been another top 5, top 7 pick. Remember how they got Jamar Chase. It wasn't just that the Bengals were bad. It was that Joe Burrow was out for the back end of that season, and they were able to tank safely down the stretch. This year, it looks like they're going to stay afloat. They're going to be right there in mediocrity. This might actually end up firing them right in the foot. But again, the breaking news, the Bengals, They trade for a quarterback. Jake Browning couldn't cut it. Joe Flacco in the door. And you were right, Mike Rizzo. I went and looked it up. You know how many times in the history of the Bengals and the Browns franchises they've actually made a deal?
My best guess, shooting from the hip 2 times before this.
0.
Wow.
This is the first time in the history of the NFL that the Bengals and the Browns have struck a deal. And again, I think it comes out of desperation on behalf of the Bengals. I'm surprised, though. Like, did they sniff around at Russell Wilson? You know, was Jameis Winston not made available? Were the Giants asking for too much? Like, I do think that they got Joe Flacco at a decent price, but I wonder how much were teams asking for like a guy like Kirk Cousins to where they didn't go into those markets, because those guys all still feel like better quarterbacks to me than Joe Flacco.
Yeah, and Flacco, what I saw from the Browns, it was dink and dunk. But it's not going to be like that. Like, if you're a Cincinnati Bengal fan listening, if you watch that Cleveland game, you cannot use that as evidence for what he's going to be in Cincinnati. These are 2 completely different offenses. The Browns don't have skill weapons outside of Judkins and tight ends. The Bengals have 2 top 10 wide receivers on the roster. I expect Flacco to throw for big yards. I expect touchdowns. Now, you are going to get turnovers at this point into Flacco's career. He is going to turn the ball over. But I got to say, man, I can't look at Cincinnati and not say this is an improvement from Browning. Theo, Browning was everywhere, man. He was all over the place. He was
so
hard.
bad.
Brother, it was hard to watch. Honest to God, it was hard to watch. And I think Zach Taylor and Joe Flacco working hand in hand together. I know a lot of people are down on Zach Taylor. I actually think he's a pretty good coach when things are right around him. The one thing I do worry about is that Cincinnati offensive line, Theo.
Yes.
Flacco cannot move. Like, the one thing I loved that I saw from Dylan Gabriel in the London game against the Vikings was that he was able to maneuver out of the pocket and run. Flacco can't do that. It's like, what did they used to say about Tom Brady, the baby deer thing? That's where Flacco is at his point in his career. If pressure gets there, he's either going to have to throw it away or take the sack. So I do think it's an upgrade, though, for the Bengals. I really do. And I don't know if Russell Wilson or Winston would have made much more of a difference than Flacco. I think all these guys are the same at this point at their careers. Now, I will say Jameis is instant offense, and he'll probably throw more interceptions and gamble a little bit more. But the safe move, Theo, was Joe Flacco going to the Bengals, I think.
It was a safe move for the Bengals. It might not be a safe move for Joe Flacco, because you're right. Let's not forget, that offensive line is what got us here in the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and Joe Burrow thinks one of the biggest issues I have with Burrow as a quarterback, as great as he can be, is I think he watches too much Mahomes tape, too much Lamar tape. I think he looks across the league and sees guys like Josh Allen and their escapability and their athleticism, and he thinks he's in that same tier group. Joe Burrow's not the most nifty and nimble on his feet, and he gets in trouble all the time because he's trying to run away from pressure and extend plays, and he can't get away in which he at least believes he is. Or maybe he was like that at some point and it's kind of died off some, and he hasn't come to that realization in his own mind. If he couldn't evade pressure behind that offensive line, Joe Flacco has about a quarter of what Joe Burrow has in his legs.
I also think the Bengals need to get that run game back on track too. I mean, Chase Brown has been a non-factor this year. When you become very one-dimensional, it's hard, because defenses in the NFL are good. As we know, they play the double high safety, and they're going to keep the underneath stuff open. Now, the Bengals are lucky that Chase and Higgins are the receivers that they are, because they could create separation. But I know Browning stunk, but Theo, I'm not shocked at all that he had 8 interceptions in so many games, because they knew the pass was coming. And in a lot of these games, they're already down. What was the Lion game? What was it, 28-3 as we were heading in? It was over. I mean, I know they fought back. They looked good in the fourth quarter. They almost covered the spread, but it was ultimately a 37 to 20-something victory. They're one-dimensional, and I think Flacco will help maybe get the run game back on track and hopefully find these receivers as they're going downfield for Cincinnati Bengal fans.
A win-win trade. The Browns and the Bengals pulling it off just under an hour ago. Joe Flacco from Cleveland to Cincinnati. I mean, he could literally just drive a rental car on over and pack his bags and get things going, as he now is going to be throwing the football. Instead of Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman and Isaiah Bond, it's now going to be Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Speaking of those two, I said it's a win-win. I think this is a win-win-win. win because of fantasy football players all around the world who were dying and aching for more Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. There's a place where even if you don't have those receivers on your lineups in your teams, where you can actually put some hard-earned cash on their stat projections and win money. And I do believe that both of them are going to see more spike weeks now that we have a quarterback who is able and willing to bomb the ball down the field and force it to his top guys. Speaking of, I know the perfect place to go. Prize Picks. Prize Picks. Download the app today. Prize Picks is the place to play, especially when you have some insight like a big trade like this, making a guy's stat projections a little bit more juicy. I know that I've told y'all about this before, but Prize Picks is the place where I love picking my plays and building lineups. It is simple. It is easy. All you do is go between 2 and 6 different player stat projections. Oh, Theo, give me some examples. All right, sure. How about this? Jamar Chase, more or less than 0.5 touchdowns rushing or receiving. I'm going to hit more on that because I know that number one gets force-fed the ball no matter who the quarterback is, and he delivered on that this past weekend. But it's not just football. Basketball season is opening up. What are some Prize Picks options on the hardwood? Well, I'm glad you asked as well. Prize Picks gives you stacks, so now you can actually use the same player up to 3 times in one lineup. So maybe you're like, hey, Steph Curry's on a heater. I want to do more three-pointers, more assists, and more points. You can pick all 3 of those Curry lineup stat projections, build it into one lineup, and then build some other ones on top of that. And again, it's between 2 and 6, and you can do football, the basketball, the hockey. You can go all over the place. It's all about what you believe in your brain and letting it play out on the playing field. On Prize Picks, you also can play and be flexible with the flex plays. They don't all have to be able to be nailed. If you miss one and you do a flex play, you actually can still win some hard-earned cash. Use the promo code THEOD on Prize Picks. That is promo code THEOD. That's going to get you $50 for free in lineups for just after your $5 play. That's all you got to do. One $5 play, you get $50 free in lineups when you use promo code THEOD, and you can join the millions of users that are signing up for America's #1 fantasy sports app, Prize Picks. It's good to be right. It's also good to be at the home of the 2-time defending champs. We are at Amerant Bank Arena. We are on the road. We are here because the puck drops on the NHL season in just over a couple of hours. It is banner night. The Florida Panthers are going to host the Chicago Blackhawks, one of 3 and a triple header on ESPN tonight. But, of course, we are going to be your home for the Panthers on ESPN 106.3 all season long. Last year, the Panthers got it done on banner night, a 6-4 win over the Boston Bruins. Why is that important? Well, Brad Marchand, who is now a member of the Panthers and a part of this defending Stanley Cup championship team, he was on those Bruins at that time. So technically speaking, for a lot of the Stars tonight, this will be their second straight banner night here, and Brad Marchand included. I'm curious to see what it feels like for him on the other side of things versus where he was last year, and I'll make sure to ask him that tonight after the game, hopefully after what will be a Panthers victory. Before we go to break and before we get to Mike Tannenbaum, there were some disastrous outcomes on the football field over this weekend. And today is a Top 5 Tuesday. So, Mike Rizzo, can you cue it up? I'm going to give the top 5 worst losses on the gridiron from the weekend.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
Much love and thank you. You punch the buttons. It feels like it's seamless, man. I feel like C-Cat's not even gone. You are in the cat cave and you're conquering it, dog.
Yeah, and I told you, rabid junkyard dog today back at the cat cave.
Well, let's start then at the back end of the list. We'll start with the best of the worst.
Well,
number 5's on the next page. You got to go page over there. It's all good. You just after I give you a compliment.
The junkyard dog is
number 5.
There we go.
There it is.
Sorry, there we go. Junkyard dog got caught looking at a bone over here.
It's fine. Hey, man, you know what? Sometimes you get a little salivating, you get a little hungry. I'm not going to blame you. The Chiefs loss is 5th on this list. It's not because of who they lost to in the Jaguars, who are clearly a better team than what we thought. It's the way in which they lost. You get Patrick Mahomes being fooled in the red zone, throwing a pick 6. You have multiple times late in the game, big erroneous mistakes. Harrison Butker kicking the ball out of bounds. Also, on offense, how in the world do you not have Xavier Worthy or Hollywood Brown looking towards to get the football with the Jacksonville Jaguars playing soft coverage? Terrible execution down the stretch for Kansas City, and it always hurts to lose in primetime. They now dropped to 2-3, and they have the Lions next. That is your 5th worst loss of the football weekend.
Number 4.
How about the New York Giants? A week after celebrating and throwing a championship parade and Brian Daboll is pounding his chest, we found our guy. I told y'all to pump the brakes, and the brakes were pumped on them. It was like emergency brakes. The Saints take down the Giants 26-14. You have a terrible Cam Scatterbo fumble that turns into 6 points for the Saints defense. You have Jackson Dart throwing 2 interceptions. One of them was so boneheaded, I thought this was like a preseason game. I thought it was like a training camp type interception. It was absolutely terrible. It is clear that Jackson Dart throwing the ball 40 times is not going to be the formula for the Giants to win this year. Now, I do have to give them grace. There's no Malik Neighbors out there to save you. I do have to give him grace. It's only his 2nd NFL start. But the Saints were winless. And the Saints have been competitive but actually horrible down the stretch in games. I expected the Giants to be able to actually make this thing closer, if not win it. A lot of people there was people that had the Giants in survivor pools who were fooled by them. That's definitely the 4th worst football loss of the weekend.
Number 3.
How about the Texas Longhorns? I mean, they lost to Florida. You lost to the Gators. And it wasn't even like the Gators have been bad. USF beat them. Miami stumped the life out of them, and you lost to that squad. So we'll just leave it at that. Sorry about that, Longhorns.
Number 2.
Also, yeah, you got a big problem at quarterback. Number 2 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you ask me this like week 1, I would say, yeah, I'm not surprised Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans beat the Cardinals. Yeah, hell yeah. But through 4.5 weeks, this has been one of the most miserable teams in all of professional sports. They have found every which way to lose. Calvin Ridley forgot how to catch the football. Their defensive backs, seemingly halfway through every game, forget how to cover. Forget that they're supposed to cover. In fact, the worst part of all of this is it feels like Cam Ward has been playing good football, but he continuously gets let down. The offensive line not playing as strong as they usually do. So many issues with the Tennessee Titans, but for the Cardinals to lose in a way in which they did on Sunday, they had the lead. They also ruined a lot of survivor pools. I appreciate them for that. They had the lead. Emmanuel DeMarcado, 72-yard touchdown. He looked down at the goal line before he threw the ball. It was absolutely horrendous play by him. And then you let the Titans come back and win in a close one. That's absolutely embarrassing. It's the 2nd worst loss of the football weekend, but it's not worse than this next one.
Number 1.
Penn State. See, this is why I think C-Cat is sick today. I think C-Cat's stomach is bubbling, and it bubbled over. I know he was in yesterday. I didn't see him, though. I didn't get to look the man in his eyes. I think his stomach is bubbling over after watching his Ravens get demolished on Sunday, the night before he had to watch his Penn State Nittany Lions absolutely dribble down their legs against UCLA. Like, I was flabbergasted when I saw that score. I'm excited. I was excited when I saw Penn State come charging back. I almost threw a little bread on them to still win it when I saw how lopsided it was early on, but they could not fend off the Bruins. Like, Penn State's supposed to win those kind of games and then lose the big ones. If James Franklin and the squad are going to be losing games like that when they're ranked in the top 5, I am absolutely floored at what that could mean for their potential in the Big Ten. Or maybe just maybe, it's a little reverse psychology action. James Franklin leads the guys into a loss like that early, get that taste in their mouth. Now they'll show up bigger in the big games. Who knows? But what I do know is you can't lose that kind of game, especially not in conference, especially not in the Big Ten, where you're going to be trying to fight for a spot in that conference championship game. And it looks like a loss like that is going to be very detrimental to not only your record, not only your standing in the CFB 12-team playoff rankings, but also to be able to get a chance to play. And where are they going? Indiana? Are they going back to Indianapolis? Rizzo?
They play Indiana at home. I'm
talking about for the Big Ten championship game.
Oh, it's in Indianapolis.
Okay,
correct.
Yeah. So that's
in Indianapolis, but they're done. Theo, they got to go. Penn State has to go to Ohio State. They have Indiana on the schedule. They're done.
That's the thing, though. I'm saying maybe they lost to UCLA to get the loss out of the way.
They got 2 losses in the Big Ten. I think there are just comparatively teams that will not have 2 losses within the Big Ten because they lost to Oregon the week before.
I forgot about the Oregon loss, the whiteout loss as well. You're right, but that's a respectable loss. That was your top 5 losses. most miserable, disastrous losses of the football weekend. And I was fair because I included my Chiefs, despite them losing to a team that only has one loss. On the other side, Mike Tannenbaum joins the show. Mike T., former general manager of the New York Jets, former VP of football operations for the Miami Dolphins. He joins. He gives us his recap of the football weekend and his thoughts on the Browns and Bengals interdivisional trade. That is Mike Rizzo on the ones and twos. I am Theo Dorsey. We are theoretically speaking from Amerant Bank Arena on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
In sports and in life, how you move matters. So when injuries or pain get in the way, the orthopedic specialists at HSS Florida provide world-class care to get you moving again. From non-surgical and surgical care to personalized rehabilitation, HSS Florida offers the same quality and expertise you expect from HSS, the world's #1 in orthopedic care. With 2 convenient locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida. Choose better, move better.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and I'm dropping the gloves. Your new home for the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers is ESPN 106.3. Tonight, the quest for number 3 begins. It's the Blackhawks and Panthers live. We raise the banner at 5 here on ESPN 106.3.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
It's UFC Rio on October 11th as we get to see Charles do Bronx Oliveira take on Mateusz Gamrot in a lightweight scrap. Oliveira is looking to work his way back into title contention one final time, while Gamer hopes to establish himself as a true contender at 155. It'll be Oliveira's jiu-jitsu versus Gamrot's wrestling. If you love high-level grappling, this is the fight for you. Twin Peaks is your ultimate UFC headquarters for all the big pay-per-view cards and every fight night in between. Enjoy an ice-cold 29-degree draft beer and made-from-scratch favorites from the kitchen as you watch all the fights on one of the big-screen HD TVs. With Twin Peaks as your fight night headquarters, there's never a bad seat in the house, and you get to enjoy all of the fights without a cover. Twin Peaks is your go-to for eats, drinks, and scenic views.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. The next chapter of Audi is here. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
It looks to be official per Cameron Wolf from NFL Network, who we'll have on here in about an hour. Browns trading Joe Flacco means Shedeur Sanders is now QB2 behind Dylan Gabriel and active on game days. So the youth quarterback evaluation, or elevation actually, in Cleveland for the rest of 2025 is going to be the scene. That's from Cameron Wolf via Twitter. That is interesting to say the least. Joining us now on Theoretically Speaking is Mike Tannenbaum to drop some Mike Tannenbaums. And on a Tuesday afternoon, Mike T, how shocked are you to see the Bengals and the Browns making a trade happen?
Yeah, it's great to be with you guys. This is a trade necessity. I just tweeted, if you look at the Bengals, they had Jake Browning, but guys, in the last 3 games, they scored a total of 37 points, so they had to do something. And to me, I'm a little surprised it was within the division, but I would say from the Cincinnati standpoint, this was an absolute trade necessity. I think for Cleveland, you're probably encouraged by what you saw with Dylan Gabriel, and this gives Shedeur, a chance to move up the ranks as well.
Now, Mike T, I'm curious also, does this mean for the Browns, I know they have, I believe, Bailey Zappi on the roster. Are they still going to look to maybe backfill? Because you're having one QB out the door. They kind of came into the year with an overload of quarterbacks. Do you think they're still kind of sifting around to see what other veterans they can add to the locker room, or you think they feel comfortable with who they have in-house?
I think you're good there. I think it's a good group of 3. You never know, but I don't know why, with Bailey as sort of getting the vet with the 2 young guys, that makes sense to me.
Yep. And it also means that Shedeur Sanders is now one play away at all times from playing the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns. It feels like even in the preseason and 4 weeks in, Stefanski and Andrew Berry and all the decision makers around the Browns didn't feel like he was fit to play quarterback. You saw him through the preseason. You obviously know a lot about him as a prospect. Do you think he's made up some ground in a way to where they feel like, hey, if we put him out there, it's not going to be an embarrassment like what happened in that final preseason game he had?
Yeah, I think at some point you got to play and look. Every roster spot, guys, in the NFL is precious. So if you're on a roster, by definition, the team has to have some confidence. And, the big thing for me with any young player, and, we see in the league with DeMarcado, we saw it with A.D. Mitchell, young guys are going to make mistakes regardless of position. You just don't want to see the same mistake twice. And look, we're not at practices, but if I was evaluating Shedeur, for that matter, Dylan Gabriel, both, one's a 3rd, one's a 5th round pick, are they getting better? Are they making the same mistake twice?
And we will learn that very soon here for the Cleveland Browns. Now, let's move to the Cincinnati Bengals side of things. Joe Flacco's, he's kind of long in the tooth at this point. He was once, quote-unquote, elite. He was once a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP. But the Browns moved off of him because of how poorly he was playing through 4 weeks this season. Do you think the Bengals actually get a guy who can help them? Because I look at the AFC North and the AFC in general, and it's looking a little weak at the top. I feel like the Bengals make this move because they believe they can actually compete in the AFC. Does this get them a step closer, in your opinion?
I do. And, sometimes, you got to make incremental progress. And what I mean by that is, you talked about at one point he was elite. He's clearly not that guy anymore. But for whatever reason, Jake Browning has gotten worse. I did the game on ESPN radio, the first one he started against the Vikings. He just doesn't look like the same guy. So I know Flacco isn't perfect, but from a Bengals standpoint, I think they had to do something.
Yeah, and that something means you got a guy in Joe Flacco behind a shifty offensive line, and you got to hope that he's able to stay upright, because if Browning wasn't ready, I don't think that's going to mean he's going to be ready by next week or the week after that if Flacco's not able to hold up. But we'll see how that improves the offense, and we'll see if the 2-3 Bengals can actually bounce back and contend for an AFC North that's seemingly wide open. Mike Tannenbaum joining the show here, ESPN NFL insider. He also former general manager of the New York Jets. Mike T, what do you think has been the biggest shock, the biggest surprise to you now through 5 weeks of the NFL season? Because to me, it has been the fact that the Jets are the lone winless team right now. And that was a squad that I just knew had enough fight in them, had a new head coach in Aaron Glenn that would make up ground from last year. But surprisingly, it feels like they've taken a step back. What has shocked you the most out of the first 5 weeks of this season?
Yeah, I'm with you there because I thought with Aaron Glenn, you look at the way some of those Detroit defenses played, they were very much the way he played, like tough, competitive. They don't have a turnover, which is really stunning to me. I'm also very surprised by how good Jacksonville is. I was shocked that they, beat Kansas City. They're sitting here at 4-1. That's a big surprise to me as well.
What about with Chris Jones? I don't want to get too inside football here, but I can't wipe from my mind the season opener, Chiefs versus Chargers, where it seemingly was Chris Jones who made the mistake on the Justin Herbert scramble that sealed the deal for the Chargers to get that win. And then last night, you see Chris Jones on the play where Trevor Lawrence falls down twice behind the line of scrimmage, literally walking as Lawrence crosses the plane for what would end up being the game-winning touchdown. Like, you usually lean on your veterans to be the ones, and he's been the guy for the Chiefs, making the right plays, making the hustle plays, making the smart plays. Is it odd to see him look like the guy that likely is going to get chewed out in the film room for a second time in 5 weeks?
Absolutely. I really don't know what happened there. He's a borderline Hall of Fame player. He's had a really, really good career. So I don't know what's happened. I don't know if he thought like the play was whistle dead because Trevor Lawrence was on the ground, which, by now, obviously everyone knows that you have to, touch him, in the NFL, unlike college. So I'm guessing, but he's too good of a player. That was, the game was on the line, obviously. I'd love to hear what, before, I'm sure Andy Reid's had a very sensible conversation with him. Like, what did you see or what were you thinking?
Yeah. And there's been a bunch of situations like that. I mean, last night, the Chiefs generally in big spots, late in games, especially on primetime television, they usually make the right plays. You watch Butker kick the ball out of bounds, giving the Jacksonville Jaguars a short field. You watch Mahomes in the red zone throw a pick six. It looked like he got fooled there by the fake blitz by Devin Lloyd. And then, there was a play on that last drive where you're still like, okay, too much time for the Chiefs. And twice it looked like him and his receivers were not on the same page. So definitely strange things there. Is it time for concern for Kansas City? They're 2-3. They got to play the Lions next week, who have bludgeoned contenders or the woeful teams in the NFL. Like, what level between 1 and 10 of concern do you have for the Chiefs this season right now?
Yeah, I actually thought they moved the ball well last night, and Tyquan Thornton was making plays. They're going to get Rashee Rice back. That was a really fluky game, both ways. Bolton with the play, that pick six by Lloyd. And I think they're going to be okay. Chargers stumbled their toe. They lost another offensive lineman, this past week to the Commanders. I think Denver's pretty good, but when it's all said and done, I think Kansas City could be there when it's all said and done just because they have the best player in the sport in Patrick Mahomes.
Mike Tannenbaum dropping Mike Tannenbaums here on Theoretically Speaking. It is a Tuesday. It is a top 5 Tuesday. I'm gonna throw a quick puzzle at you right here, Mike T, to see which one you think is more likely to happen. Because 5 weeks into the season, if I told you the Colts and the Ravens, two teams who are historically tied in the history of their franchises, the Colts and the Ravens, one of them is 1-4, the other one is 4-1. I think everybody and their mama would have assumed the Baltimore Ravens would be the ones with the winning record atop the AFC. But here's the question. What do you think is more likely? The Colts to miss the playoffs or the Ravens to actually make the playoffs? Both of them not looking good for either team. Which one's more likely in the eyes of Mike T?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I think Baltimore's got to turn around. They just have too much talent. I think when Lamar gets back, because the other part of this, the reason I still think they make it is you look at the AFC and 7 teams have to get in. The Patriots look better. Baltimore's taking a step back. Cincinnati, we don't know. Can Flacco come in and play? Houston still has a bunch of questions. So I think when it's all said and done, I think Kansas City and Baltimore find a way to get in.
And speaking of, you mentioned the Patriots. I'm curious to you, who is the next quarterback who you could see actually reaching that elite tier, the tier that, feels untouchable? Last year, it felt like Jaden Daniels made his way into that conversation. Who's next to join it? Because some people are saying Drake May is that guy. I thought it was a great defensive performance from the Patriots, and May did everything he needed to do to pull out the win. But some people are saying he's next up. Do you have him, or is there somebody else in mind that's going to join that elite tier next?
Yeah, it could be him. We got to see a lot more out of him. So let's sort of hit pause. Like, I'll tell you what, I am all in on Jaden Daniels, though. Like, you want to talk the definition of a franchise quarterback? He misses a game, comes back, they're down 10-0 on the road, 3,000 miles away against a good team, and he leads them back. So if Jaden Daniels is not in that tier yet, Theo, I'm putting him in there.
Mike Tannenbaum, dropping Mike Tannenbaums here on Theoretically Speaking. We are here at Amaret Bank Arena. We're on the road. We're about to watch the Panthers drop a banner. But I want to close with this, Mike T, because you also watch in college football the Virginia Cavaliers pretty closely. And first and foremost, welcome to the top 20. And secondly, can we get our update on the Cavs? What are you liking out of what you saw this past weekend in the win over Louisville?
Yeah, I got, I'm incredibly biased, but I got Tony Elliott as the coach of the year. I got Chandler Morris in the Heisman, conversation. And let me tell you, these guys could sneak themselves into the ACC championship game. Back-to-back overtime wins against Florida State and Louisville. This is a high-powered offense. Cam Robinson, who will hear his name on Sundays, is a really good linebacker who came back. So they're a really fun team, and just proud that my son's part of it. And again, big tip of the cap to Tony Elliott. He's built the program the right way. Give credit to Virginia for being patient. And they're a really fun team to watch.
It absolutely is great to see another team in the ACC step up as others are falling down. And Virginia, here's one last note I'm going to leave you with before we go here, Mike T. Miami, Georgia Tech, and Virginia, all undefeated in the ACC right now. None of those three teams play each other. So we might have an end-of-the-year weirdo, bizarro situation where like Miami could be the number 2 team in the nation, undefeated in their conference, but not playing in Charlotte based on how the tiebreakers break out, which would be so Miami. It would be so Miami. So I'm interested to see how that ends up playing out.
Boy, that's so fascinating. So they don't play each other, huh?
Yeah, those three don't play. Duke is also undefeated in the ACC, but they have, I believe, somebody else on their record. But there's a scenario in which Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Miami can finish their ACC schedules undefeated in the conference, and there's going to be a team in that in that triumphant right there that will not play in Charlotte. So I know that in the league offices in the ACC, they're rooting against that actively because they don't want to have to sift through that. But as a fan, I'm kind of interested to see how that will play out. But again, good luck to your Virginia Cavaliers going forward. The Miami Hurricanes, top 2 in the nation, is amazing. It's great times to be a fan in the ACC. Thanks for joining us here, Mike T.
All right, thanks. Have fun tonight with the ceremony.
Appreciate you. That is Mike Tannenbaum. His appearance is always brought to us by Eisner Amper, and he dropped those Tannenbaums on us because he let us know Jaden Daniels, already there, already elite. And, yeah, I do think that people are having Drake May right there, next up, ready to be crowned. If he's able to continuously be competitive against the Bills and beat the Bills like they were able to do this past weekend, I must say the stranglehold that Josh Allen has had on this division, the way in which he makes the Dolphins crumble left and right, if Drake May can lead a team that contends with and chops at the legs of those Buffalo Bills, he will have something to say in that conversation. We're going to go to break here. Before we do, I got to tell you, it is cool here at Amaret Bank Arena. So cool, so freezy cold because we got an ice right there, but it's also pretty chilly on a day-to-day basis at the Dorsey abode, and that is because I have EDS air conditioning and plumbing. I don't have to worry about what the temperature looks like, feels like outside in South Florida, which, by the way, the heat, it can get to you. That heat, that South Florida heat is undefeated, and it does not take a timeout. That is why I'm locked in with EDS air conditioning and plumbing. I'm actually a Gold Plan member. What does that mean, Theo? Well, it's easy. It's simple. Gold Plan members get 2 check-ins every year. That is preventative care and repair. Plus, you can get same-day hot water heater treatment. You can also you get 15% off of repairs as a Gold Plan members. It is great on the golden side. EDSIsYes.com. Log in today. Figure out how they can help you with your plumbing or air conditioning needs. EDSIsYes.com. They have 0% interest financing for 60 months on a new air conditioned unit. Yeah, I said that right. 0% financing, 60 months at EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. How do you find out if you're a qualified customer? Simple. EDSIsYes.com. ESPN.com. Join the good people. Join the team. They have been servicing Palm Beach County and the greater area since 2006, keeping you cool, keeping me cool. And trust me, you don't just have to take my word for it. Check out the Google reviews. Over 800 reviews, a 4.8 star rating. EDSIsYes.com. Try, trusted. It stands for Everyday Savings. EDSIsYes.com. That's the place to go. On the other side, I have to address what happened out in Tallahassee. It was a shellacking. It was belt to ass. The only issue I have is the final score is not representative of that, so we'll get to that and more on the other side on the Get Around. Mike Rizzo's in the stew. It's your boy Theo Dorsey. We are on the road at Amerant Bank Arena. We're theoretically speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. You see that new welcome offer? Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. I think we got to jump on this.
What's John Daly think?
I think you got to grip it and rip it.
Grip it?
And rip it.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
All right, let's talk about your game day routine. You've got the jersey, the cooler, the tickets, but what about your ride? Show up looking like a champion with Unlimited Auto Wash Club. With 6 South Florida locations, every membership includes unlimited 100% hand washes, 1 per day, every day. From a quick exterior shine to the ultimate special with wax, Rain-X, and interior touch-ups, Unlimited Auto Wash keeps your car looking its best all season long. Call 561-WASH-ME-TOO or visit a location today.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
We're about to hit a get around, a safe-bound get around, but first I got to tell you how you can stay locked in with all things South Florida sports, especially these Florida Panthers, especially Inter Miami, especially Theoretically Speaking and Russo and Rizzo. If you miss us live, you can always watch us back, and it's right at your fingertips on the ESPN South Florida app. Wherever you get your apps, download it in the App Store. It is absolutely free, and best of all, you can stream games live. You can stream the shows live. You can go back and watch our takes ahead of the football weekend, and maybe that helps you shape what you're going to put your money on for the football weekend. I'm not saying you follow everything we say. Maybe you think a couple of us are idiots and you want to fade us. Only way to be able to go back and see is going to the ESPN South Florida app. It is free in their app store. Download it today. See what our thoughts are on the games and also be able to follow your favorite teams, including here in South Florida for high school sports and high school football. We have some great teams that have been at battle. We are 8 weeks into the actual game or the high school football season. That means we got like 3 or 4 more weeks left until the playoffs. All of that and more on the ESPN South Florida app. Download it today and get tapped in. All right, now, y'all know what time it is. Time for us to take a trip. Hit the button, Mike.
The Safebound Get Around is brought to you by Safebound Moving and Storage, South Florida's most trusted moving company. You're safe with Safebound.
It's that time again to take a trip on the Safebound Get Around. We go to the top sports headlines all across the globe, but today I have a feeling we're going to have a stop in the Sunshine State. Where are we going first?
Next stop.
How you doing, Theo?
Kate Chumslin there for the Safebound Get Around, conducting the ship.
You're right. We're headed to the Sunshine State. Let's head to the very north end, Tallahassee, Florida. The Miami Hurricanes, Florida State Seminoles. One of the most underrated rivalries in college football, I would say. But Miami, at the number 2 spot in the country, took down the Seminoles 28-22. But let's all be honest, the score did not truly reflect the storyline of this game. Miami Hurricanes going up early 28-3 before the Seminoles make a late run at it in the fourth quarter with 19 unanswered points. Your final score 28-22. Theo, as an avid Hurricanes fan, are you satisfied with this win?
Yeah, I am, because you all you want to do is escape with the win. I don't like the way in which Miami keeps on letting teams back into the game late. They did this against Notre Dame. They did it against Florida. And here, this is the third time we've seen this happen where they're dominating a game and a team gets back into it. Sure. On the other side of that, I do believe this Canes team is the most complete squad we've seen in 20 years with Miami. They have recruits salivating about coming to Coral Gables. They have the nation. A lot of people saying, hey, maybe they shouldn't be number 2. Maybe they should be number 1. And you look at number 10 in their wide receiver core, Malachi Toney, an 18-year-old true freshman who had a couple of touchdowns, had a third one called back. He looks like, if not the best wide receiver in the nation right now, top 3. He literally looks like if you drop Tyreek Hill onto a college football field. Same size, same agility, same burst of speed. I love watching Malachi Toney play football. I love watching these Canes this year. Also, most importantly, Tommy Castellanos, quarterback for Florida State, said that they were going to trick Carson Beck into mistakes over the weekend in Tallahassee. Beck, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tommy threw 2 picks as well as 2 scores. Beck got the upper hand. The Canes are the state champions in Florida for back-to-back years. And FSU, Florida, and everybody else that plays in the Sunshine State, that's little bro. Love to see it.
Where to next, Rizzo?
Next stop.
Let's go back to the NFL. We'll head it up north. It's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Saquon Barkley organized a 2-hour sit-down between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown following a 21-17 loss to the Denver Broncos. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about the Eagles, Theo?
10. And the concern I have about the Eagles is that they don't seem to be satisfied with success. Success to them, because they have so many mouths to feed and because they have so many excellent playmakers, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and you look at a guy like Devonta Smith, he's not just an elite receiver that has to take a back step to A.J. because he's not as good as him. He's a Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver. This dude is a very decorated player, and somehow, some way, 5 games in when you're 4-1, you're having not even players-only meetings, but playmakers-only meetings. I've never heard of anything like this 5 weeks into a season for a Super Bowl defending champion that's also still winning football games. That is a great concern. It felt like A.J. Brown was not satisfied last year with winning the Super Bowl. You can tell that there's a level of discontentment around in that locker room when you watch the post-game interviews. It feels like they are disjointed. And when you stop enjoying the ride, it makes it that much easier to get tripped up. And that's exactly what happened to them against the Broncos. They had the lead. They were not enjoying themselves. The Broncos rallied back from a 14-point deficit, and they get the win. There's a difference in teams that play with joy and teams that are just like obtusely talented. And I do feel like the Eagles have all the talent in the world, but they hate each other, and that's going to be a problem when you have to go through an 18-week season plus the playoffs. It's a long time to be miserable around some people you don't like working with.
And if I can chime in here real quick, I find in myself looking at these team sports and realizing that more and more it's all about the mental side of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Because nothing with the Philadelphia Eagles has to do with talent or physicality. They've got all the players in that locker room to do it. They just got to get out of their own way, out of their own head. It's all between the ears.
Yep.
Right? That's the hardest part about sports is the 6 inches between your ears. And so far, the Eagles haven't been able to figure it out. Where to next, Rizzo?
Next stop.
So we hit the Southeast. We hit the Northeast. Now let's go all the way out west to Los Angeles, California. And no, we're not talking about the struggling Chargers. No, we're not talking about, what's up, everyone? Right there on the YouTube stream. Go check us out. Twitter and YouTube at ESPN West Palm. We're not talking about the Rams. We're not talking about the Chargers. We could talk about the UCLA Bruins when they're a fantastic win. But no. Let us go to the king of basketball. LeBron James teased a Decision 2.0 that was announced a couple hours ago, and many speculate it could be an announcement to a retirement tour. Theo, could this be the last dance for Mr. One LeBron James?
Of course it was an ad for Hennessy. Of course it was just an ad for Hennessy where he announced he's taking his talents to Hennessy, Sop or whatever. Look, man. Look. We know that LeBron is going to announce his retirement tour on his own terms, and he's going to do so before whatever his last season is. And the fact that he has not announced it for this year makes me believe that he has another season after this. Why? I would assume it's because he wants to play with Bryce James, his other son, his youngest son technically, who's a freshman at Arizona this year, and likely will be able to make the leap to the league after one season, no matter what happens.
Over there in Arizona.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, and he also has size, which is what Bronny kind of lacked a little bit. So I think he's going to play out this year. He's going to flirt with retirement like he always does, like every other person that is very self-centered in sports who has a great legacy does. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Tom Brady. Like, this is how you exit when you're a legend. You flirt with retirement, you hang that over franchises' heads, and you get them to bend to your will. He's going to play next year. It's going to be with Bryce. It's likely going to be with Bryce and Bronny. He's going to make another historical run out onto the court with his sons, and it's going to be a great, fun retirement tour, and I think that's when he hangs it up. But when he announced a day ahead that he had a huge announcement, Decision 2.0, I just knew this was for a brand deal. So at least he paid it off for them. I'm glad. Hennessy's stock probably went up because of this LeBron announcement. It's silly as hell. All right. That's a safe bound get around. That was fun. It would have been fun to see LeBron actually make a real Decision 2.0. That was great for South Florida last time he did it. And it would be great if he did something in favor for the South Florida nation, the South Florida sports fan who is thrilled about tonight, but they don't need LeBron James on a day like today because October 7th is not Decision 2.0 day. It is banner night for the Florida Panthers. The Cats are back. We are here at Amerant Bank Arena, 2 hours out from the first puck drop of the NHL season, the Blackhawks versus the Florida Panthers. No, you won't have Matthew Tkachuk. No, you won't have Alexander Barkov, but you will have the reigning champs looking to do some damage. They are heavily favored, I believe, minus 300 on the money line, a goal and a half favored in this one, so they should pull out the win. Either way, we'll have the highlights of the banner drop for you on YouTube at ESPN West Palm. And, of course, you also can go ahead and download the ESPN South Florida app. That's Cade Chumson, who just rocked the get around for us. I'm Theo Dorsey. More on the other side. The happy hour with Tina right at your fingertips. This is Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Are you tired of the hassle of buying a car? At Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, we're changing the game. No pushy salespeople here, just friendly product specialists on salary here to help you find the perfect ride. With over 500 vehicles in stock and a goal to sell 250 by month's end, that means incredible deals are waiting for you. Forget the back and forth negotiations. Once you pick your dream Kia, you'll work with one manager the entire time, making decisions on the spot for a smooth, stress-free experience. We'll even handle the paperwork, your tags, insurance, and every detail. Need help learning all the features? We'll schedule a post-delivery session when it's convenient for you. And if you can't make it in, we'll bring a new Kia right to your home or office for a test drive. Plus, for a limited time, you'll see the factory invoice right on the windshield of every car in the showroom. Visit Greenway Kia today or shop online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
What if every use of your debit card turns spare change into something meaningful, like growing your savings and supporting local community causes? With Flagler Credit Union's Impact Checking with Everyday Change, your spare change can have big impact. Each transaction can be rounded up to grow your savings and support nonprofits that provide meals, shelter, and essential services locally. Make an impact in your life and in your community. Open your Impact Checking account today. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
This Halloween, the scariest thing on your team shouldn't be your books. Don't be scared. Jay Zolo and Associates is here to exercise your bookkeeping nightmares. With QuickBooks Online and expert care, let Jay Zolo bring your books from RIP to MVP. Let the only skeletons you deal with be the ones in costumes. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. The next chapter of Audi is here. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a good karma brands radio station. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man, your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. We are excited for what we are nearing. We literally have reinforcements on the way. Just in case I can't break this desk down quick enough to make my way to the ice to watch that banner drop for the second straight year here. And the Panthers home opener. We have Brian McLevin-Rowitz shooting to the stadium to make sure that we're able to get that for you, but we'll get that and more as the Blackhawks take on your Florida Panthers to open up the NHL season. Theoretically speaking, is on the road today, but we packed a little light, and that means that we came without Espresso Martina, who's back in the studio in the ESPN West Palm Evan Cohen studios. And Tina, welcome to the show. Sad you couldn't come out here and watch the Panthers do their thing, man.
I know. I do have some FOMO. It is the home opener of the Florida Panthers, so I do have some FOMO that you're there and I'm not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's fair to have FOMO, but don't worry because you and everybody else who might miss the action can always recap it back by downloading the ESPN South Florida app, watching us back on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, and, of course, you can also just listen live to the game on ESPN 106.3 tonight. We are your home for the Florida Panthers throughout this season. It is a great announcement, but an even better, or not even better, equally plain announcement on a day-to-day basis here on Theoretically Speaking is when we join the happy hour with Tina and we get that cocktail of the day. Can I get some Sabrina Carpenter, Mike Rizzo? Espresso.
Oh, love it.
I figured it
out.
So I was a little slow. So, Thea, I can't lie. What did we do earlier? The top five? I was expecting to find the number 5 on the Theoretically Speaking hot page.
I know.
But I had to go to the Russo and Rizzo hot page. So that's on me, mate. That's on me.
We still y'all's the numbers over there. By the way,
fair play to you.
Different guy, right? Have you noticed how it sounds different, some of the numbers?
Yeah. Number 5.
Yeah.
Number 4. I mean, I could have just done it myself. Number 5. That's what I should have done.
Next time, let's do that. Yeah,
that's what I should have done. But like hindsight 2020, when I couldn't find the numbers T, I should have just went number 5. But
that's pretty good.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Cena, is that good?
That was good. Yeah, I think you should just do it on your own,
Thanks,
Rizzo.
T. Yeah, appreciate it.
He's found himself a new secret hidden talent. Tina, you're the bartender. You're serving it up in the happy hour here. What's our cocktail of the day?
So today is a National Taco Day, if you didn't know.
Okay.
And so today's cocktail is called the Taco Truck Cocktail. I could have gone with a margarita or something, but I was like, no, I want to find something taco related. So we have a Taco Truck Cocktail, and it's super simple. You got some mezcal, which I know you and I both love, some pineapple and cinnamon infused Campari, and sweet vermouth. And then you just garnish it with an orange peel.
That sounds excellent.
That sounds so good, right? And it's simple.
That sounds excellent. You know, when you said it was going to be a taco-based cocktail, I got a little nervous.
You have no idea some of the cocktails that I found that had like food actually involved in the cocktails. And I was like, no, disgusting. I want an actually like really good cocktail that's tasty and it doesn't involve mixing in broth or some corn or something. I was like, no, we want a really good cocktail. And I found the Taco Truck Cocktail.
Well, you rocked it out by finding that cocktail. That's one I actually might need to use this weekend to, recreate. And who brings this to? I think St. Lucie Battery and Tire, better known as SLBT, is bringing us this cocktail today.
SLBT, St. Lucie Battery and Tire. That's where Sally Girl goes. That's where if I have car issues, I trust the experts and I go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire. I personally go to the West Palm location off Blue Heron and Military Trail, but they have locations all across Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com to find one closest to you. Again, don't try to figure things out on your own. Take your car in to St. Lucie Battery and Tire. I've gotten tires there. I've gotten a battery there. I had a nail in my tire last week. Got it all fixed up. Got an oil change. Got some brake pads. They always take care of me and Sally, the Sonata, slbt.com.
Tina, I thought you were going to go with an espresso martini, not an espresso martina, because of what we discussed through the chat.
Oh, last night?
Yeah, because you're watching Love is Blind. I also am watching Love is Blind with the wife. She's actually going to steamroll through a lot of it today because I'm going to be out at the Panthers game all day. So she's going to just catch me up. I love, by the way, when I'm a show like Love is Blind, when I'm watching it with the wife, and then I have a busy day or two, and she's like, hey, I'm just going to watch a couple of them ahead, and then I'll catch you up. Because I'm fine with missing episodes of shows like that and getting a quick recap. Because sometimes it gets a little too lengthy. You get these long, drawn-out conversations.
This season is messy, too. Like, there's a lot going on this season. I'm, like, half watching, like, half also doing other things. But one thing I didn't miss yesterday, and this is why I texted it to you, because I know you're watching Love is Blind, and my love for espresso martinis is one of the girls on the show, Love is Blind, said, do you know why there's 3 beans in an espresso martini? For love, health, and money. And if you don't have 3 beans, that espresso martini is bad luck.
This is my question, though. So if I get an espresso martini and it has more or less than 3 beans,
I feel like more is good.
Okay, more is good. So because you could just take one out if you have more.
I feel like,
but if I have 2 beans, do I send it back?
I don't know, right? Like, be like, hey, this doesn't actually, like, this is a bad luck espresso martini. So maybe go give it to someone like down the bar or somewhere else, or you have it yourself. But I need one with 3 beans. I feel like if you have more, that's good.
Yeah.
From someone who used to mix and make espresso martinis, more than 3 is overkill.
But do you? But do
it
you,
really is. It's overkill.
It is overkill. But
would you do less?
No, it was 3 standard. I feel like 3 is always the standard to put in it. If you don't put 3 in it, you're probably upset at the individual to some extent. But those things, guys, I got to say, they're the worst drink to make in the history of bartending.
Anytime.
You always say that.
In the history of bartending, the worst thing ever is the middle of a lunch rush. You got 5 tickets, and then all of a sudden 3 bougie girls sit down and go, we'll take 3 espresso martinis. You're ready to go through the roof.
You say this every single time that we bring up espresso martinis, and you are on Theoretically Speaking. I haven't had one in a really long time, and I said this last night in our group text. I was like, I am just craving one. But I'm picky. I want to make sure that this one that I'm having is going to be delicious. And I know a few spots to go to.
Yeah, they're good.
I'll be honest, though.
They're good.
I'll be honest, though, Mike. You've made me self-conscious. Like, I have started ordering less espresso martinis
Nope,
I don't
since
care.
you said that. Because you made me so. So here's the other side of it, though. I've had bartenders recommend me get the espresso martini.
Well, yeah,
and
for
I'm like,
sure.
Whoa, do you hate
but,
yourself?
this is like, you got to understand, it was a high-stakes bar I was working at, a high-paced environment. So, you had to get drinks out. I had a lot of tickets in there. If you're at some bougie bar charging $40 an espresso martini, order up, brother. Order up, brother.
Not.
Now something. Do you want to know what compensates for everything when it comes to? But say you're worried about a bartender getting angry with you. Do you want to know what immediately puts you on the good side? Money, and a good tip.
Yeah.
So if you say you order it during the lunch rush, throw them an extra tip, because I'll guarantee you they'll look your way first at a packed bar.
Now,
Guaranteed.
Here's the thing. I had a dilemma that happened to me as I was waiting on my flight. I believe yesterday in the airport that I'm gonna. Yes, it absolutely sucked. Actually, you know what? No, let's get right into that, because I'm curious what y'all think about how I should have handled this. Mike, you are a former bartender. Tina, you are a former waiter or waitress. So,
Same thing. It's
sorry.
fine.
I apologize. You get the point. So I'm at the airport lounge. My flight is getting delayed after delayed after delayed. So we're stuck here at a lounge. And, of course, in the airport lounge, you're able to get free beverages. So you're starting off small. I'm just like, hey, I just want a wine or two, waiting on my flight to take off. A little something to, take the brain off the fact that I'm sitting here and getting these unfortunate updates from Frontier. Shouldn't be flying Frontier in the first place. So it's about 2.5 hours in or so. And I'm going back to the bar now for the 3rd trip. And I'm like, I got to make sure, because my bartender has now changed. I got to make sure that I tip this guy, because I don't want to be that guy in the lounge getting all these free drinks and not showing some love. So I approach the bar, and this time my request is also very simple. Couple of Pinot Noirs, one for me, one for the wife. Let's make that shake. He says, okay, thank you. And he is looking at me. We are both facing each other as I go reach for my pocket to pull out my tip, which is cash, to go into the jar. As I'm reaching into my pocket, the guy turns around to reach for the Pinot Noir. Now, it's too late. I already had the $5 bill like in the back pocket. It wasn't like it was in my wallet, so I didn't have time to pull it out, sift through the wallet and whatnot. No, I just went right for the pocket, $5 bill ready. I'm putting it into the jar. The dude never turns around. So the full transaction of me giving this tip and then retracting my arm back from the tip jar all happens, and the only person that knew it was me, maybe the security camera, and the 4 or 5 people at the bar that were also waiting on drinks. But to this day, I think that guy thinks I went back to the bar 3 or 4 times for all free drinks, and I feel absolutely horrible. How in the world should I have handled that? Do I wait next time mid-air and look like a jerk who wants credit for his tip? Do I put another $5 in so that he knows I'm showing love? Like, what do I do there?
So next time, okay, if you're that self-conscious about it, go say something to them. Maybe like, hey man, thanks for everything. I took care of you, and make a point to the tip jar. You appreciate it. No, I appreciated that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I appreciated people going above and beyond and thanking me for my service. Like next time you go, hey man, that's our last one. Flight's taking off soon. Really appreciate everything. I left you a little something. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say.
I feel like I'm seeking out value. So like the issue is like,
but we like that stuff. Bartenders like that stuff. That means we did a good job. That means we made an impression on you.
I screwed it up.
And like I was
like I screwed it up.
I was the same way, even before I was a bartender, I would always like to go out of the way because, growing up, my mom was a waitress and stuff. So like, I'd like to, make sure that they were taken care of and compensated. Do that the next time.
It still counts. It still counts. He got the tip, but he doesn't know it came from me. So I feel like, I feel like a jerk.
You were wearing, you were wearing the cape. We appreciate it. You were wearing the cape.
Somebody else got credit for that bread.
Nah, you're all right. You're all right.
I wouldn't have tipped again. No, I would not have tipped again. I would have said like, well, this is what it is. He's not gonna know it's from me. But I wouldn't have done it.
You know the type of person I am, mate. If I really wanted him to know, it's hey, I'm the loudest person in the world. Number one, I'm shouting at him. Hey, brother, thanks so much. You did a great job. I left you a little something. Hope you enjoy your day. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Does it not feel like a little aggressive to tell them that I left you something?
No, but it sounds like you wanted to, so you should have said something.
I wanted him to know.
Yeah,
I wanted him to know, but I wanted him to see it happen.
You're an assertive dude.
I'm gonna fly back to that airport.
Theo, you're an alpha male. There's no issue with doing that, mate. There's no issue with doing that.
Also, an alpha male, Shedeur Sanders, who is now officially QB2 for the Cleveland Browns. Why is that? That's because Joe Flacco, who was QB2, is now on the Cincinnati Bengals. We have officially announced the trade a couple of hours ago, and we dissected it and we talked about it. That is the big news of the day, coming off of a football weekend that saw the Bills lose to the Patriots, that saw the Texans just treat the Ravens like rag dolls, the second straight weeks that Baltimore got trashed. And then also, of course, last night on Monday Night Football, the Jacksonville Jaguars take down the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28. Trevor Lawrence scrambling for his life, falling down, getting back up. It's like the Dwayne Wade commercial. You fall down 7 times, you get back up 8. And all the while, Chris Jones is just watching you scramble into the end zone for a game-winning touchdown. It was a fun weekend of football. It ends with the Jaguars 4-1, the Colts 4-1, and teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens in the cellar of their conferences on the outside looking in at the playoffs start today. And that is not something we would have expected. You hear the music tuning up here at the Coors Light Cold Zone at the Amerant Bank Arena. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but it's just a little sign. Doors opening here at the Florida Panthers home arena in 30 minutes, and it is banner night as the puck will drop at 5 o'clock as they play the Black Hawks. It is all-time vibes right here. And I said doors open in 30 minutes, but I'm already seeing some fans starting to make their way in here. So the party's already getting started. Mike Rizzo and Tina, y'all are missing out.
FOMO.
Yeah, and I got to say, man, T's the resident Panther fan, man. I saw her. We went to multiple games, obviously, but even at that watch party, Tina was locked in. So give her some credit. Tina's the legitimate Panther fan out of the bunch of us.
Oh yeah. I'll crown her as such. She was the one on the Stanley Cup championship clinching night. She was the one who wanted to remain on that ice as long as possible.
Dude, my
most endurance of anybody.
So Thea, I had my Pistol Pete's on, what I call. They're the my black dancing shoes, with no laces. I'll tell you what, the Pistol Pete's, the insulation on them, my feet were frozen. I finally looked at Tina and said, I got to get off this ice, dude. I got to get off this ice. I cannot feel the bottoms of my feet anymore.
That was such a fun day, too, because everyone was being very careful, like, on the ice, and I was, like, running around. Like, I was literally so excited just running around.
Those were good times, man. And I assume, nothing tops the actual moment when the team wins the championship, but there's also the parade, and then there's nights like tonight that are banner night. All of these things come with it when you're able to reach the pinnacle of your sport. And it's funny because you watch these things happen in favor of the Florida Panthers, and you see how celebratory and how excited they are and how they all come together around it. And then you watch the Philadelphia Eagles go have the same exact thing happen for them, and they seem as miserable as they come. So it is funny how success and achievement can impact different teams, different locker rooms, different fan base. It's also that one thing that Pat Riley likes to bring up, the disease of me. And this Florida Panthers team has the opposite of that. The disease of me is when you win a title and everybody starts saying, well, what's in it for me? What do I get? How do I improve from this? Whereas the Panthers are looking to join together as a band of brothers, despite injuries to start the season off, and despite guys also wanting to have some long-term financial security. Everybody re-upped, everybody's back, and they're going to be rocking and rolling on that ice here in about an hour and a half. Also, guys, Jerry Jones, did you see the news? The NFL finding Jerry Jones $250,000 for flipping the birds to Giants fans. Jets fans. Jets fans. It's all the same at MetLife, but
he's got it, D. He'll be all right.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, I did.
He's trying to act like it was a happenstance.
It's something. It's not on par for Jerry Jones. They must have said something that really made him upset. Like Jerry's taken the high road on stuff like this before, Theo.
$250,000. You might say that's nothing.
It's a $20 bill. It's a $20 bill.
It's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't, whatever.
Theo, that guy is leaking cash. He's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, made $250K.
That's still a lot of money, man. At a certain point, it still is a lot of bread. I'm sure if there was a repair to be made around the stadium and they said, hey, Jerry, it's going to cost us $250,000, he would at least flinch.
So, Tina, what would you do with $250,000 right
now? Pay off some debt.
Me too.
Maybe season tickets to the Panthers.
Me too.
Pay off some of my parents' debt.
Yeah, me too.
They have debt.
That's such a boring answer, Tina.
I know. I'm trying to think. It was spot on. I don't know. I'd probably turn in my car, get a nice car. Yeah. I don't know.
But you love that car.
I do love Sally Girl. She's a good car.
Of course.
But I would love a Jeep Wrangler too.
Yeah,
or I don't know.
We're going to be howling with the Wolf here in a little bit. He was at the Jaguars versus Chiefs games for Monday Night Football. But before we get to that segment on the other side, Tina, I want you to tell the good people, you say you love a good car, you love Sally and whatnot. What you love even more than that is hustling and working out at F45 with your homies.
Yes, I love my car, but I'm not obsessed with my car like I'm obsessed with F45.
Come on.
I am there all the time, 5:15 a.m., full of energy. If it's a strength class, if it's a cardio class. Today was a cardio class, and it kicked my butt. It's welcome week, so F45 Palm Beach Gardens has great specials going on, so you can try out all the classes that they have to offer, if it's from strength, if it's from cardio, if it's a little bit of hybrid, which is both. F45 Palm Beach Gardens, it's a 45-minute workout. It is so great that I just get to walk in there, not think about what am I going to do today. It is all there on a screen. There's a trainer there to help you if you need to modify, if you have any questions. F45 Palm Beach Gardens, check out their Instagram page to see the specials that they've got going on, or go to f45training.com to find a location near you.
We are going to be howling with the Wolf on the other side as we welcome in Cam Wolf. He was the first to report that Shedeur Sanders will be QB2 for the Browns, and he will join us to talk about Monday Night Football on the other side. Thanks to Tina. Listen back to our talk with Mike Tannenbaum on the ESPN South Florida app or on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, and stay locked in for a little howling with the Wolf here on Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
ESPN West Palm is on the move. Brought to you by Safebound Moving and Storage, the most trusted moving company in Florida. You're safe with Safebound.
You don't have to know hockey to love the Florida Panthers. I'm working on converting some confused friends who think icing is a dessert. I'm Evan Cohen, here to tell you the back-to-back Stanley Cup winning Cats are now here on ESPN 1063 and the new ESPN South Florida app. No experience required.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
All right, let's talk about your game day routine. You've got the jersey, the cooler, the tickets, but what about your ride? Show up looking like a champion with Unlimited Auto Wash Club. With 6 South Florida locations, every membership includes unlimited 100% hand washes, 1 per day, every day. From a quick exterior shine to the ultimate special with wax, Rain-X, and interior touch-ups, Unlimited Auto Wash keeps your car looking its best all season long. Call 561-WASH-ME-TOO or visit a location today.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
ESPN 1063 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet, home of Inter Miami, Miami Heat, and the Miami Dolphins. Catch all the action and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 1063. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. Wager terms and conditions apply. Consider by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMITTED.
Think you're smarter than a fifth grader? Some of our elected officials sure hope so. Join us for Laugh Your Assets Off on October 23rd at the Paddock Restaurant from 6 to 9 p.m. With an open bar, live and silent auctions, and professional comedy courtesy of Publix Charities, it's a night you won't forget. Watch Noel Martinez get hilariously roasted, all while supporting junior achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast. Presented by the Stiles Nicholson Foundation, get your tickets or sponsorships now at juniораchievement.com.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
God knows. I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on, honey, and all my babies.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
You are safe with Safebound, and theoretically speaking is on the move with Safebound Moving and Storage right now, coming to you live from Amerant Bank Arena ahead of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup champion, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, dropping the puck on their season. I don't want to say kicking off. I feel like kicking off and tipping off, dropping the puck makes the most sense when we're talking hockey here, as they're going to be facing the Blackhawks at 5 o'clock and doing a banner celebration as well. And speaking of Safebound Moving and Storage, it is South Florida's most trusted moving company. Literally, they moved my sister from South Florida to Georgia. By the way, kicked it out there in Atlanta over the weekend with them. Everything's doing great. All of the couches and the beds and the furniture and the suitcases and the boxes that Safebound Moving and Storage helped her with, all looking lovely in the new spot up there in the Peach State. And that's to be expected when you're rocking with Safebound Moving and Storage. They are a trained team of experts. They are family-owned. They're based in West Palm Beach. So whether you're moving out of Florida, moving into Florida, or moving around in between in-state lines, Safebound Moving and Storage has the expert team to handle business. Do not try and move on your own. You are an amateur. Lean on the pros. SafeboundMoving.com. Safebound Moving and Storage. It is South Florida's most trusted moving company. SafeboundMoving.com. Tap in with the good people. Speaking of tapping in, we have Cameron Wolf, NFL Network reporter, howling with the Wolf here on Theoretically Speaking, not even 12 to 15 hours after watching the Jaguars take down the Chiefs. And Cam, appreciate you pulling up on us. I know travel had to be tight coming from Jacksonville, all the way from Jacksonville to South Florida. But also, Cam, I mean, that was a thrilling Monday Night Football game, man. What's your number one takeaway watching Trevor Lawrence sneak away with the win against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Oh, well, first of all, Theo, I feel like a pastor on Sunday morning. You know, sometimes you stumble once, sometimes you stumble twice, but God is always there to lead you into the end zone no matter what. The Jags found a way in a game that I felt like I've seen them lose dozens of times in the last 10 years. I've seen the Chiefs find a way to win that sort of game. And for some reason, on Monday night, it was different. And I think that it kind of sells what the Jags have been trying to tell people for a long time, that they're not the same old Jags. Everybody rolls their eyes. But when you beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, people pay attention. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, that the Jags made people pay attention to them. And that's hard to do sometimes, given the city they are, the brand they are. But we all need to pay attention to the Jags.
Yeah, I can't help but feel that way now. They are atop the AFC. They are one of only, I think, 3 teams with 1 loss in the AFC. And when you beat Patrick Mahomes in prime time and it comes down to the last couple of drives and you make all the right plays and the Chiefs make all the wrong ones, you deserve the credit. So the Jags get the big win. Before we get into the details of the game, I'm just curious. I saw you had your post-game interview with Travis Hunter. What was it like seeing him play on both sides? I believe for the first time you watching him in person in the pros here. And what was his usage like? Like, what did you take away from that?
Yeah, I was very eager to see him, because the reality is the first quarter of the season, the stats, the eye-popping plays have been minimal. And so everybody's like, what the heck is going on with Travis Hunter? I think we were talking about it last week. Like, what are they doing? And as I talked to people throughout the week, they were like, there's nothing wrong. And the reality is they were missing him on a lot of deep passes that he was open on, and he just didn't get those opportunities. And so I was talking to people in pregame, and they were like, just watch out. We're going to throw at least 1 or 2 of them today. He's going to get them. And it might surprise some people, but he's going to make some plays. And then he had that big play in the second half where he goes up over 2 defenders, felt like he leaped 4 feet off the ground and grabbed that pass. And you're like, okay, now I get it. And in the same token, it was a few plays earlier, he was chasing Xavier Worthy down the field for 60 yards and having good pass defense. And a few plays later, he manned up against Travis Kelce and helped break up a pass. And I'm like, what type of player can cover Xavier Worthy, cover Travis Kelce, and jump and catch a 50-yard pass over 2 defenders? And in that moment, it's like, okay, I get it. The production hasn't always lined up to where he was drafted. But when you see the ability that he can do, what he can do, I think it makes all the sense why they feel like they can build this team, they can build this offense around him in the future.
I see the vision. That's I feel like you.
That's it. I see it. I didn't see it the first 4 games. I saw it Monday night.
Hey, perfect time to pull it out though, right? Because when you are on primetime television, that's when the most people are watching. There's no other distractions, and you also have the Chiefs in town. Like, do you feel like for Liam Cohen and them, like, this is obviously their biggest win of the year, but it almost feels like 2 wins because you watch Travis Hunter look really good on both sides of the ball, and you beat a team that you expect to be right there in the AFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl this year, huh?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that this is, the coaches don't love to say stuff about like statement wins, but this is a statement win of this Jags team, not only this year, but in recent memory. I was in the locker room after the game, and I went up to Josh Hines-Allen, who's, their best pass rusher, one of the best in the league. He's been on the team since 2019. And I simply asked him, where does this rank for you, regular season wins? He said very quickly, number 1. He's like, it's the biggest win we've had since we've been here in the regular season. And I know a lot of people may laugh. It's like, dang, why is this the biggest win y'all have ever had in the regular season? But it's because of the reasons you mentioned. Prime time against a team that has several Super Bowl trophies, against a team that people thought would destroy them. And they, in a new regime, kind of removed the doubt. And one thing players told me through the week is they heard a lot of whispers that they weren't a real 3-1. They were a fake 3-1. They were just kind of the fluffy September. Your schedule went the right way. You got lucky a few games, and it was all going to fall down. And they wanted to prove they weren't the same old Jags. And so, to your point, they got to make the statement in front of the country. They got to help themselves from the fan base perspective. I know they were having some issues at times selling tickets. The fans don't have an excuse now. You just beat the Chiefs. You got Travis Hunter balling out. What are y'all doing? Get to the stadium. And so I think that all of those things play a huge factor. As far as the season, they still got a long way to go to make it to the playoffs, to get over the Colts, to get over the Texans. But for the visual perspective, the meaning perspective, this was huge.
This was huge. Cameron Wolfe howling with the wolf here on Theoretically Speaking, following a Monday Night Football performance that has people having restored faith in Trevor Lawrence, and also has maybe a little bit more doubt on the side of the Chiefs as they lose another game, another one-possession game. Last year, they were the team that the 17 straight one-possession game wins. This year, I think they've already dropped 3 games in that fashion. Cam, is there any level of concern you have with Kansas City, or do you think this is just one that kind of got away with them? Because I know you were on the sideline there, but on that last play when Trevor Lawrence scrambled into the end zone, I was trying to figure out, like, did Cam Wolfe body swap with Chris Jones and just stand and walk around? What the hell was that? Like,
yeah, man, he was loafing major. I guess sometimes you get tired. I just don't think it happens on the game-winning play. It looked like he just all of a sudden, decided he didn't want to play anymore. I don't know, man. Like, the reality is the Chiefs look like the better team for most of the game. The stats will tell you that the Chiefs are the better team, but they didn't win. And it's interesting because normally I just knock this off as an anomaly, like, hey, just happens. The ball bounces that way. But the Chiefs have had a few of these games this year, and now they're 2-3, and you start to wonder, why is the clutch gene going away? And I don't put it on Patrick. Like he admitted on the pick 6, he got fooled in the coverage. That's going to happen from time to time. But the rest of the team, is the hunger still there? You won a couple Super Bowls. Yeah, that's the question I have. Like the fight. And you mentioned Chris Jones. Like that's a perfect example. If your highest paid players aren't fighting for tooth and nail in your last play, what are you doing? And so that element would concern me more than the loss. I think 9 times out of 10, the Chiefs win that game off of talent. But the concern is certainly the hunger, is the fight dissipating with this team.
This is Cameron Wolfe, NFL Network reporter, howling with the wolf here on a Tuesday, per usual, following Week 5 of the NFL season. Of course, we had Jags Chiefs, but a result that probably will get lost in the shuffle was Browns Vikings, 21-17. It was the first game on Sunday because it was the London game. We saw Dylan Gabriel toss us up a couple of touchdowns, but more importantly, he didn't turn the ball over, which was Joe Flacco's biggest flaw through the first 4 weeks. Now, Cam Wolfe, we learned that Joe Flacco is on the move to go save the Cincinnati Bengals season. Cam, like, what do you make of this trade? And I did see your tweet that says that this makes Shedeur Sanders officially QB2 in Cleveland. But, like, what do you think this actually does for this NFL season on both sides of this trade?
Yeah, I think it's perfect timing for both teams, some would say.
Wait, perfect timing. Wait, hold on a second, Cam.
I think that the Bengals, I'm not going to lie to you, I got tired of watching Jake Browning. And so I'm sure that the Bengals and Zach Taylor got tired of watching Jake Browning. And at some point, you got to say, hey, we got to give ourselves a shot. Somebody can throw the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins well down the field. And so I don't know if Joe Flacco saves the season. My guess is no, but it's worth the shot. To me, the more interesting element is the Browns element, because they were always going to eventually focus on seeing if their rookie quarterbacks have anything and whether they need to draft a quarterback in the 2026 draft. They got 2 first-round picks. They've got theirs, and they've got Jacksonville's. And it's just when they turn the timeline. And so they already moved to Dylan Gabriel. And so why do you need a Joe Flacco? I love this move because I do think it puts Shedeur Sanders closer. And whether that's week 7, week 10, week 15, I do think we see Shedeur Sanders start multiple games for the Browns this year. And so I think that will give the fans, obviously, what they want to see, but also the Browns at least a good look at, hey, what do we have for both guys? You mentioned it for Dylan Gabriel. His style is running the offense, operating really well, quick passing, taking care of the ball. He did that well. Is his ceiling enough that you're going to build your franchise around him? Most teams thought no. Most teams thought he'd be a high-level backup. And so if he can prove to be a high-level backup, then you've got your backup of the future. Now the question is, who's your starter of the future? And so I'm eager to see Shedeur get that shot. It's still an uphill climb for him to prove that he can do that role, but he's a gamer, and I'm eager to see him get that shot and see if he can at least hold off the Browns' plans to draft a quarterback high in 2026.
We are howling with the Wolf. Cam Wolf from NFL Network joining us here on Theoretically Speaking. It is actually intriguing. I think the Browns have one of the more intriguing quarterback situations because, like you said, they got the 2 first-round picks. They got 2 quarterbacks in-house that seemingly have a shot at it. Whereas, like other teams, like the Saints, it's like, yeah, we know which way this is going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to do the Spencer Rattler thing for a year. You're going to draft the quarterback high next season, and then you'll start things. I'm curious, though, before I let you go, another rookie quarterback is just got his turn a couple of weeks ago in Jackson Dart, and he had a win against the Chargers, but it wasn't an elite throwing performance. And then this past weekend, he lost to Spencer Rattler and those Saints. A couple of bad erroneous throws from him. Just 2 weeks sample size of the Jackson Dart experiment in New York. How do you see that thing shaking out, man? Because I still haven't seen it from him in the way in which I think, like Brian Daboll was pounding his chest saying, we have our guy. I'm not saying that ain't true, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Brian Daboll pounding his chest to say anybody is his guy because he wants to save his job. And he needs some hope to be able to save the future. And so I think Dart is his hope. The reality is most people I talked to thought Dart was a year away from being able to be ready. And so you're seeing some of that now. He looks like a rookie. He won that first game off of really just being a backyard gamer, not necessarily being a locked in operation quarterback. And so it's almost very much, and they're different quarterbacks. But if you remember Josh Allen's rookie year, his completion percentage was very low. They ran a lot of simplistic offenses. It was very one read and run. This is probably what we're going to see from Jackson Dart a lot of times, and he's going to make a few plays, but more often than not, they're going to need to play good defense. They're going to need to run the ball, and their playmakers are going to have to ball out for them to win. And without Malik Neighbors, I don't think that's going to happen very often. So I think that this is, we're going to see some splashes from Dart, but this is still going to be one of the worst teams in football, and they're going to have to rebuild towards 2026.
Howling with the Wolf. Appreciate you pulling up on us on a short notice off of the travel from Monday Night Football. Cam Wolf, we appreciate your time. We'll see you next week, same time, dog.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, bro.
On Twitter, he's at Cameron Wolf, as well as on Instagram. You can get news from him and reports. He's covered the Dolphins. He covers all of the NFL for NFL Network, and he clearly was there at Monday Night Football in Jacksonville watching the Jaguars get the win. That was Cameron Wolf, howling with the Wolf on a Tuesday. Always good to tap in with a good brother. And before we do go to the other side, I got to tell you, it's also always good to know that you got good water at the crib. And I have that with Culligan Water. Culligan.com. That is the website to go to. You go to Culligan.com. You schedule yourself a free water test. And that free water test gives you the ability to then, would you look at that? Those are toxins. Those are pollutants. Those are pharmaceuticals in my drinking water, in my home, that my kids drink out of, that I drink out of, that my wife drinks out of. It's not about scaring you. It's about giving you the proper details so that you can make the right decision for yourself. Culligan.com, that's where you can go to get your free water test. Maybe you're okay with your drinking water, but you might have an issue with hard water in your home. I had both. That's why I got the reverse osmosis system. That's taking care of my drinking water. And then for my water back home, talking about the shower water and the water that runs through my washer and dryer and the water that goes through my water heater, I needed to turn that hard water into soft water. I got myself a water softener, and that way now when I take showers, I don't have brittle hair and dry skin. I am moisturized. Those minerals that are in your water can be eroded out with the proper system. Check in with Culligan to see how they can help you. Culligan.com. They have been doing it the right way for decades, and they can do it for you in your home. Just go to Culligan.com, schedule your free water test, as well as see what other services you can use from the good people at Culligan. We'll close out the show on the other side, talking a little bit Panthers, talking about some Prize Picks plays you can make on tonight's action, because that is an option for you as well. We talk football and basketball a lot. Hockey also available on Prize Picks. So stick around for some of those plays as we inch closer and closer to banner night and the puck dropping on the NHL season. Mike Rizzo's back in the studio with your boy Theo Dorsey. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
This Halloween, the scariest thing on your team shouldn't be your books. Don't be scared. Jay Zolo and Associates is here to exercise your bookkeeping nightmares. With QuickBooks Online and expert care, let Jay Zolo bring your books from RIP to MVP. Let the only skeletons you deal with be the ones in costumes. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
It's a Twin Peaks Tuesday. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge for eats, drinks, and scenic views. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
ESPN West Palm is on the move. Brought to you by Safebound Moving and Storage, the most trusted moving company in Florida. You're safe with Safebound.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
We're coming to you live from the Coors Light Cold Zone, not Cool Zone, Cold Zone, and the doors have officially opened here at Emirates Bank Arena. The fans are pouring in. It is active. It has action. We see people picking up memorabilia. We see Florida Panthers fans getting ready for banner night as we are about to open up the NHL season. The Blackhawks at the Florida Panthers, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. Paul Maurice going to have to draw some nice stuff up this year. He's kicking things off without Matthew Tkachuk, without Sasha Barkov, but we know that this is a very competent organization and a great team. My favorite thing about hockey season as well is that Prize Picks don't discriminate, baby. Hockey is on the Prize Picks app as well, and I have it downloaded, and I have a lineup ready to go. Hey, Mike Rizzo, you want to hear about my 3 stat projections for my Prize Picks lineup for tonight?
Let's hear it, brother.
All right, I'm letting these things rip. First and foremost, we got a Taco Tuesday. A Taco Tuesday on Prize Picks is when they give you a decent stat projection on a guy that is a little lower than what they typically would. Sergei Bobrovsky, goalie saves. I have him at more than 21. I also have Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks, more than 0.5 points. And Anton Lundell, also more than 0.5 points. That's in my lineup right now. $10 gets you $57 on Prize Picks. Download the app. Use promo code THEOD. Join me. Let's have some fun. Let's make some plays. Let's watch the Florida Panthers try to become 3-time defending Stanley Cup champions. We had a great conversation with Paul Maurice. We're excited to be teamed up with the Panthers. Of course, Russo and Rizzo is going to be next right here on ESPN 106.3. And after that, we will lead right into game coverage at 5 o'clock. We are the home of the Florida Panthers all season long, so stay tapped in with the Rat Pack. I'm Theo Dorsey. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy, and go Cats!
In sports and in life, how you move matters. So when injuries or pain get in the way, the orthopedic specialists at HSS Florida provide world-class care to get you moving again. From non-surgical and surgical care to personalized rehabilitation, HSS Florida offers the same quality and expertise you expect from HSS, the world's #1 in orthopedic care. With 2 convenient locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida. Choose better, move better.
Hey, it's Theo Dorsey. My favorite time of year is here, football season. And if you're a fan of football, you need to be playing Prize Picks. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Will Saquon Barkley have more or less than 1 rushing touchdown? Will Joe Burrow throw more or less than 2.5 passing touchdowns? If your picks are right, you can cash in. Prize Picks also puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast and safe and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account all football